This way forever. I'm Byron Jackson.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximizing top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on in the corners and max out down the straights?
The teams will have arrived with all manner of parts designed to capitalise on the long straights. The cars will be that much harder to drive in the corners, but everyone will be in the same boat.
Welcome guys to round 3 of the F1 2016 Season 2 career mode. I need to finish this career mode off quite soon because, as you know, F1 2017 will be releasing at the end of August. I believe it's August 27th that they're looking at releasing it. I'm not entirely sure, I think that's the date I saw, but it's definitely in August, so we pretty much have June and July to finish this game off and hopefully get finished by mid-August. Got a lot of races to go. We're only in the third race of this 2016 career mode, so this might overlap with 2017. As you see, I'm just doing a practice little braking stop, but unfortunately we weren't quick enough to get into Q2. I just didn't have the pace and the performance to do it with the wheel, but we're going to start P22 for the race.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill and a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me to talk you through the action today is Anthony Davidson, and give us an idea of what kind of thing you're going to be looking out for today.
Well, the big question for me is whether or not we're going to see the cars able to follow each other closely enough to overtake, especially through the fast sections here. Of course, we've got DRS, and that will help on the straights, but it's still no good if you're coming off the previous corner too slowly or too far behind.
You're lower on the grid than we wanted. See to it that we improve throughout the race.
So here we are for the formation lap of the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to skip the formation lap as always and go straight to this race. We're starting P22. As I said, qualifying wasn't that great. We skipped practice because this race was straight after the previous race, and I'm still on the wheel, and this racetrack is not one of my greatest, not one of my favorites, especially on the wheel. There's a few corners that can throw me out, especially the final corner. I cannot seem to get it perfect with the wheel. But we're going to start the race now as soon as we line up back into our grid slot. We have Felipe Nasr and Rio Haryanto in front of us. So let's get ready for the race as we have 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights now. Lights out and away we go. We get off to an amazing start, smashing Nasr off the line. Haryanto is slowly getting away from us. I believe that is probably because of the Manor performance and the Mercedes engine. Manor doesn't have a lot of downforce, so as soon as they get into top speeds, they can pull away because there's less downforce for them. However, in the corners, they're going to be struggling, and on the acceleration, they'll be struggling. Here we go into 17th already. We passed Valtteri Bottas. I was surprised that Bottas was so far down into the grid order, but skipping a few and coming up to the end of lap 1, we're on the main long straight now. Up into P15, we have Kvyat in front of us. And Gutierrez is right behind us. He's going to be in our slipstream. He's going to look, there he is. He's going to possibly look and have a go on us down into the braking zone, but he decides not to, but he gets a lot of time in that because we lock up and go a little bit deep into that corner. Kvyat and Button still ahead. Gutierrez right behind. Kvyat started on the super softs. Rosberg sets the fastest lap, and we go a bit wide, and as I said, the final corner is just not going to be one of my greatest. So that is lap 1. Now on lap 2, we have Gutierrez right behind us. He is catching us. The first corner is not one of my greatest. As you see, we're going out wide. I have to compensate by using the engine and downshifts because as soon as I touch the brakes, I lock up. I need to fix the braking settings because I can only put a little bit of pressure on the brake pedals before I start locking up. And now on lap 3, nothing much happened, but now we are on the rear of Kvyat, and we're going to have a look at him possibly down into the braking zone of this corner, unless we go right now. As we are going into the braking zone, we lock up, we get past Kvyat, and the job's done. Now, I believe that is Kevin Magnussen right in front of us. We get around him, we're going wide, we got sort of squeezed off the track, there wasn't much room for us. A few cars going into the pits, we have Button in front of us, Magnussen is still behind us, and that seems to be the job done. Magnussen just does not seem to have anything against us. Button and I believe that's Perez are having a little fight. Perez now behind Button. Button got ahead of Perez in the DRS zone, and Perez is going to stay in the slipstream unless they both go into pits. None of them go into pits. We're going into the pits, and I don't believe anyone follows us, even though, as you'll see in the pit lane, there's a Ferrari crew waiting. So I'm not sure if the Ferrari's already left, but there is definitely a car out there. So at this stage, we're the only ones in the pits. Ferrari, I'm just waiting for a Ferrari car, expecting one, but then all of a sudden there was no one there. But now that pushes us down into P16, possibly P18, as 2 cars are flying past us. Down into P18 now, and we have a few cars behind us, but we're going to get them into the corner, and we're going out wide with these soft, and well, not soft, we're going out wide with the medium compound tyres, and pretty much they just don't have enough temperature in the tyres yet. Lap 7, we are going to overtake a few cars in the pit lane, and Sainz is still ahead of us, Bottas still behind us, and that is on lap 7 now. Now on the end of lap 7, Bottas, there he goes, Bottas, slipstream and DRS, he gets past us. The Williams was nothing. The Williams has a Mercedes engine, so it's quite powerful on the straight, but we're going to get him back possibly into this corner, and as we go and look down the inside, we decide to back out because it's not going to be great. We're going to have DRS though, and that is Hulkenberg right behind us, looking to have a go. He'll have DRS as well, but Bottas is just going to be a sitting duck. And there's Jenson Button coming out of pits. They get so close, they touch wheels, and we go up the inside of both cars, and I cannot believe what I just saw. Both Button and Bottas managed to escape without any serious damage. They touched wheels, but that was about it. Lap 9 now, we have Perez behind us, Sainz in front of us, and then we're going to come around the final corner, and all of a sudden Lewis Hamilton is out of the race. So we're going to have a look at the replay of Lewis Hamilton and see what happened. And he's on the main straight, not far ahead, and then all of a sudden his engine just blows. Look at that. There was no warning. The engine just blows up, and it's not that far ahead. He's about 10 seconds ahead of us. But unfortunately, that is him out of the race, and that is going to be 25 points lost. And I believe he was actually winning this race. So this reminded me of Malaysia when that happened to him in Malaysia. Winning the race by a huge mile, and then all of a sudden his engine blows up, which is sort of interesting, seeing as though he could race around, I believe it was Russia, with no fuel, no water for his car. I believe that was the reason, or something. It was a reason. He had no hydraulics or something like that. But as you just saw, Sebastian Vettel had a contact with, I believe that was the Red Bull, and then, or his teammate then had contact with the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg and decided to reverse off the track. Final lap now, we have Sebastian Vettel behind us, in front of us, sorry, and Sergio Perez behind us. And that's the race finished. Daniel Ricciardo is our race winner. Perez gets us on the main straight. We're going down the inside into the corner, locking up the front wheel, and we get past him, and that is someone else catching up to us. A few of the cars, there's a little train behind us, but we're going to go and we lock up the front left now, going out wide. That is going to give Perez a huge mile to catch up, but unfortunately that is the end of the race, and that's going to be P8, I believe. So there we go, P8 for the Chinese Grand Prix. Coming back from P22, that is a huge drive, and I believe Anthony Davidson actually gave me the driver of the day for that performance, as Daniel Ricciardo wins the race, and I believe it would be Nico Rosberg. There we go, Nico Rosberg second, and Kimi Raikkonen, that's the name, Kimi Raikkonen third, I believe. I may be wrong and it may be switched the other way around, but there we go. Sergio Perez 9th, and we'll finish 8th ahead of him.
And I can see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an
And unfortunately, I was mistaken. Nico Rosberg did finish 3rd, and it was, or maybe 2nd. I cannot seem to get them correct. But we're going to see, yep, Nico Rosberg finishes 3rd. Kimi Raikkonen finishes 2nd, Daniel Ricciardo 1st, and that's going to be tremendous points for Red Bull, especially in the constructors' standings. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this race. I'm sorry that the uploads haven't been as frequent as they could be. I'm trying to do that much better. The F1 career modes do take a while to render and to make and all that stuff as my phone vibrates because of a text message. Sorry about that, but we're going to try and do more with the F1 2013 career mode, and that should be out fairly shortly. I'm not sure about the sprint mode championship, but the career mode will be out shortly. And there we go, driver standings, we are 6th and we are 1st in constructors. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
And goodbye until the next race.